Howdy, y'all. I'm looking here at Proposition 87, and let me tell you first a little bit about my background. I got my college degree in geophysics and was trained up to work for the oil companies. So I'd like you to know, to start off with, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So Proposition 87 is an initiative to increase taxes on people pulling minerals out of the ground, and uses those taxes to develop alternative energy technology. Now, here's the deal about oil. So I feel like I have to describe this first and why this is really an important proposition to think about. Now, back in '87 was whenever the U.S. maximized the amount of oil that it could produce. And this was called an oil peak. You see, the oil comes from the decay of little critters that lived millions of years ago. And there were only so many critters on the earth, so the oil is called a finite resource. You don't have an infinite amount of it. And in the world, the oil that can be produced is peaking now. They are producing just as much as they possibly can or ever will. And here, our country, our leaders know this, and so they've been strategically positioning themselves to maintain control over this dwindling resource. And the most oil in the world can be found in Saudi Arabia. Now, I don't know if you guys remember about after September 11th, but 16 of those 19 hijackers were Saudi, and there was a resounding silence about Saudi Arabia's part in the whole set of attacks. And the reason why was because we are so dependent on the Saudis for our oil. Now, that's why we went into Iraq, because there's theoretically a little bit more oil these days in Iraq than there is in Saudi Arabia, because they've been under a ban for selling a whole lot of oil under Saddam's regime. So that's why we're in Iraq. So let me just get that out. Now, let me go back to Proposition 87. Now, this proposition, I think, is very well written. It charges people for pulling minerals out of the ground, and let me tell you, they don't pay nothing. It's almost as if the state of California is giving these resources away, and that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So this charges a tax on the oil companies for making a profit from using our resources and selling them out, because they aren't going to come back. They aren't being replaced. They are gone. And it takes the percentage of that tax and it spends it 57% on trying to use oil more efficiently. That way, if the price of oil keeps on increasing the way it does, it doesn't hurt so much. 26% in finding new methods of alternative energies. And let me tell you, nuclear and fusion are great ways to go. And then, my favorite part down here is 2.5% to retrain folks who are making their living off of selling oil. So everybody that works at gas stations and know how to pump and put the gas in the ground for the station, etc., they're going to get retraining for working with these alternative fuels. It just is well written and thought out.